driver got pulled over in Ohio, and the police officer told him it was for making eye contact with him. The driver had a camera rolling as he asked the officer why he'd been stopped.
Like, no disrespect, I don't have nothing against police officers, but all that's going on now, that's some scary to have a police officer just trailing you, and then you just pull me a because you said I didn't signal. What? Do you know how that looks? You drive without being in the cop car, right? You know how it is when the police pulling you over. You're like, I'm not doing nothing. Why is he? Every move I make, why is he making it? I'm not doing nothing.
Okay. Because
I have a Michigan plate. Other than that, why was you trailing me?
Because you made direct eye contact with me and held on to it when I was passing you up Salem.
I made direct. I didn't even see you.
I'm not going to argue about it anymore, sir. If you want to keep talking about it, I'll just take your license back and give you a citation for the violation. We can take it to court. I'm not going to argue about it anymore.
Wow. I'm joined by 48 Hours Crimesider reporter Graham Cates. Graham, okay, so the officer pulls this guy over. When he goes up to the window, what was the first thing he told the driver he'd done wrong?
So John Felton was pulled over for actually making a turn without signaling prior to 100 feet before the turn. The officer even said, I saw you put on your turn signal, but you didn't do it soon enough before the turn. And Felton, throughout the video, was saying, that seems a little ridiculous. I saw you behind me for more than 2 miles. And the officer eventually acknowledged what you saw in the video. That he had made contact, eye contact. Does that appear anywhere in like a handbook that says suspicious activity is if somebody makes eye contact with you? No, it's actually really confusing stuff. I mean, you've actually heard of people getting pulled over for being furtive and not making eye contact. So there's really no kind of thing that says once you look at a police officer, that's suspicious and you should be pulled over. We heard in that piece of tape, he says, with the whole situation that's going on now, he actually made a reference to Sandra Bland. Let me play that part of the tape.
He followed me for almost 2 miles. Now, when I get to my mom's house, he want to pull on his lights. I'm keeping recording. He ain't about to Sandra Bland me.
Sandra Bland, of course, was the black woman who was pulled over in Texas for failing to signal a turn. Things got, well, they escalated. In the traffic stop, she was taken to jail and found hanged in her cell. 3 days later, that happened this summer. Let's talk about the significance of that comparison, because now it has drivers on alert and, as you saw, recording with their own cell phones. That's absolutely right. I mean, it kind of, the entire interaction between police and people who are driving has really changed. You have police officers who are wearing their own cameras, and the passengers themselves are recording the interaction so that they have their own defense once the ticket is given. How's his department responding? So they released a statement. They said, on the one hand, that the traffic violation was legitimate, but then they also said making eye contact with a police officer is not an acceptable reason for you to be followed. And then they said that Felton and the police officer are going to meet for mediation in Dayton. Okay, but come on, like someone saying, oh, yes, you did signal for your turn, but you didn't do it 100 feet before the stop. I mean, it sounds like the driver's ed instructor that I had in the car trying to get my driver's license. Yeah, it's right. And the officer himself didn't even deny that he was kind of following behind Felton for the 2 miles. Throughout this entire interaction, Felton keeps saying, you were following me, waiting for me to do something wrong. And the officer never says that's not what I was doing. And mentioning Michigan several times, the fact that he had Michigan plates, why is that significant? So there's a few ways you could look at it. I mean, it could be because of the big football rivalry. Maybe it was in Ohio. Or there's kind of that long-running theory that when you're an out-of-state driver, you get targeted by police officers because you're less likely to come back to court and contest the ticket. I see. Graham, thanks. Thank you. Remember, you can read up on all the day's biggest crime stories at cbsnews.com/crimesider.